Up a used Colt SP1 AR-15 from a classmate of mine, and he would come in every other week when I got my paycheck from school, because I was work study, I was a TA. He would come over and I would sign off my paycheck to him, so I have to pay him off, and I paid $375 for it. The funny thing is, the guy I bought it from was the stepson of the Hollywood actress Anne Margaret. Went to school with me, so it was great. He would come over and get my money from me every other week.
We live in a great state run by a communist government. You have to get a pistol license, and that license has to have your make, model, serial number, and caliber on it of any handgun that you have. New York City's even worse. That's just upstate. You can't be in the grounds of a school, near a school bus. If you're going to a school bus with any kind of weapon, then you can also be charged for that. Yeah, there's a lot of bills coming through right now that they're trying to push through, as far as you have to have 5 hours of training with live fire, classroom test, as well as they're trying to ban the 50 BMG because you can't hunt with that, and that's, even though the Second Amendment says bear in it, that's not the type of bear our founding fathers are talking about. Politicians don't get that. Yeah, it's a litany. They actually were going to check, or have everybody give them their social media passwords so they could check their history in social media and what they've said and who they talked to and chatted with. Check their history in social media and what they've said and who they talked to and chatted with before you could even get your pistol license. But they've kind of backed off on that with the outrage of First Amendment, people saying that's an infringement on our First Amendment rights. So, welcome to the state of New York.
Like all areas of shooting, man, shotgun, pistol, rifle, archery, doesn't matter to me.
Well, originally my husband tried to get me into firearms. He bought me a little .22 pistol for Mother's Day. I absolutely hated it, was mad. 3 or 4 years later, our daughter joined 4-H. My husband was a 4-H coach. Our daughter eventually became a 4-H coach. You have little 8-year-old kids out there shooting, and 8 years old up to 18, and they're having a blast. And I'm like, oh, if these kids can do it, I can do it, seriously. And so I got out there near the end of range day. I would get out there and shoot with them, and that's kind of how I started learning. And it was just a stepping stone, and it's just been a slow progression into this. And with my husband doing his YouTube and his networking and stuff, I've just kind of piggybacked into it at first, and it had kind of leaned over into my That Guy's Wife, and here I am.
I don't have to get too creative, because I've said this before. For me, the MP7, I've gotten to work with some teams that use it. I've used it on the range. I've trained with it. It's just such a beautiful little piece. That's the gun that I would buy if HK changed their policies, price wasn't an issue, and of course, there wasn't an NFA, because I'd need it to have the collapsible stock, and I'd need it to have a suppressor. MP7, bring it to the civilian market, legal freedom.
So I belong to 3 right now. First and foremost is NRA. I know that's not the most popular with everybody, but I am NRA member. Also, Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition. So those are the 3 that I'm with, and I hope you guys will support those organizations as well.